I think a good place to start is, how old are you, Carl?
I'm 39, turning 40 in April.
April what?
April 13th.
Hey man, I'm April 14. What's up?
Almost tax day. Bam.
That's right. That's right. I always tell people,
It
a
used to be
couple,
fun.
yeah, a couple auspicious dates. It's like April 14th is the day before tax day. It's the day Lincoln was shot. It's the day the Titanic sank.
Whoa.
Lots of really interesting things going on my
Interesting.
birthday. Our birthdays have some auspicious events surrounding them.
Wow. I was the eve of all those things. So right before.
Yeah. Um,
Interesting.
the reason why I'm asking how old you are is because I think you have a really interesting, like, and I'm not even 100% clear on exactly how your entire like fatherhood journey has unfolded, which I'm really excited to get into, which is why I didn't ask beforehand, because I want to talk to you about it like fresh,
Great.
but you have a really interesting like parenting journey, right? And I guess to start with, the most recent thing is you have a grandson. You have a
Mm-hmm.
9-month old grandson.
Just turned 8 months.
Yeah. So that's a young, beautiful, healthy baby. You like
Yeah.
post all these wonderful photos with them on Instagram. You guys look like you're having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess, explain a little bit, like, right, give me a little bit of background here. How are you at 39, the grandfather for uh an 8-month old?
Yeah, I don't know. How did this happen? Yeah, I was actually telling my mom the other day. I was like, "How did I get here? This is crazy." But it's the best. It's the best ever. Um, I guess the short story is Tanya and we became foster parents in 2014, and our then foster daughter Tanai just moved in with us, and she was 16. And a year and a half later, we officially adopted her, officially becoming our daughter. It, that led to now her being 23 and being a mother. And in becoming a mother last February, uh, yeah, we became grandparents. And here
Congratulations
we,
on all fronts.
yeah, here we are. It's been a crazy, what is that? 7 years, 8 years?
That's wild. That's
Mm-hmm.
really that's really amazing. Like, there's a lot there. I think there's a lot there that I've gotten a chance to talk to a lot of dads so far. I love it. It's been awesome. And each one has had a very unique and different sort of way that they became a dad, and the sort of different types of experiences they've had. And I think you're probably the most unique of them all, because you're the first one that has an adoptive daughter that entered your life as a teenager, and you're also the first one with a grandchild who's less than a year old.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are all really interesting things. I'm curious, how did you and Tanya come out to, come around to becoming foster parents? Like, how did that even occur?
Well, it was not my choice. I'll tell you that. I never really wanted to. I never had the urge or inkling of wanting to be a parent. I just thought, oh, I'll live like this my whole life, and if I happen to have kids, well, yeah, that's great. But I wasn't planning on it, nor did I ever have that conversation of trying until one day I noticed that this girl started taking classes with Tanya, gymnastics classes, and Tanya was coaching her in gymnastics. She was part of this girls' team, and they started to bond in the gym. I just noticed that they were always talking to each other. They did a lot of one-on-ones and just spent a lot of time with each other. And I spent my years traveling. I was out of the house, 200 plus days a year. And every weekend I was gone teaching seminars. And when I was gone, Tanya and Tanai would get together outside of the gym, and they would meet up, and she would come over to our place, and they would have lunch, and they started to bond. And one day I was on a plane on my way back home, and Tanya sent me a picture of Tanai sitting at our kitchen table having lunch, and she just had this like big smile on her face. And I had only seen her, talked to her briefly at the gym, but never really interacted with her. And in that moment, I just got this feeling. I was like, whoa, what is this? And I got kind of emotional, and I just felt like this is something special. And I came home. Tonight had already gone back to her place, and it was just Tanya and myself. And Tanya's like, yeah, it's been a great weekend. We hung out, and I really love this girl. It's so great to be in her life. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. I would love to get to know her sometime. So a couple of weeks went by, and we started to get together. We hung out. And one day we went to do a little road trip, and we went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and we went to the aquarium and spent time there, and I got to know her. And that day I also felt this like deep connection. And Tanya started to not only mentor her and spend time with her, but also advocate for her. So she would go to these monthly meetings at the group home where she was living at the time. And on one of these meetings, they were trying to place her somewhere. And Tanya felt like, they're going to place her somewhere outside of this group home. And I'm unsure where she's going to go. And I don't know if that's the best option for her. So Tanya asked the group home, what would it look like to become a foster parent? And they immediately pulled her in and said, this is what you do. And then Tanya came to me and said, hey, I am looking at the paperwork for becoming a foster parent. And I was like, what? you're doing what?
Like, we just went to the aquarium a second ago.
Exactly. And everything was just moving so fast in my life at the time that I was just allowing myself to go along for the ride. And before you know it, we were hanging out with her on her birthday, her 16th birthday, and we were supposed to catch a plane to go to Sweden. And we went to the airport after hanging out with her, and Tanya's passport was expired. So all of a sudden, we bought ourselves another 24 hours to be in San Francisco and hang out with her. So we went back to finish the day with her and got to hang out for her birthday. And that's when we asked her if she would be willing to move in with us. And she said yes. And we said, well, we'll be back on August 13th. We're going to talk to the group home. We're going to finalize the paperwork. And if you're still keen to do this, we'll come and pick you up straight off the plane when we land. So on August 13th of 2014, we got off the plane at 1:30. At 2:30, we were at the group home. We got her bags, and at 3:30, we were in the car, and she moved in with us. And that's how it happened. And then as she was living with us, we were doing all the prerequisites. It moved so fast, but we had to take classes and go through background checks and all kinds of things. But everything was just unfolding. And then all of a sudden, we were a family unit.
That's amazing. What an interesting story, because usually usually the I brought my daughter home story doesn't involve, I landed an hour later, I picked up my new foster daughter and brought them home. And the language that you're using to describe it, it sounds and feels the same language that I would hear of, new parents for a newborn, that they're bringing their kid home from the hospital. And I think that's really interesting. Where did you think that turn happened for you when you went from not really thinking about or wanting, to have kids, to, just the light switch being switched of being, not only is this okay, but it sounds like something that you like proactively were interested in creating for yourself and your family.
Yeah, that happened. Tanai got permission to do an overnight with us, and we had dinner at home. And after dinner, she said, "I'm going to go to bed." Tanya went into the room with her and kind of put her to bed, and I was just sitting there on the couch. And Tanya came out and sat next to me, and we were just sitting there, no TV, no nothing. We were just sitting there. We're like, "Oh, what's happening? There's a person sleeping in that room right now, and here we are." And she looked at me. Tanya looked at me. I looked at her, and she said, "We could do this." And I said, "We could." It just felt really good in that moment. And this was, completely blind, but we just felt like this was it. This was right. So that's when the turn happened. And then the rest is kind of history. It just unfolded from there because I was now emotionally invested.